presentation will compromise different ideas about the purpose and practice of education, relating to my own ideology and how I believe the school system should be set out. The Finnish education system limits class sizes to around 15 pupils. If more than 15 pupils are in a class, then a new class needs to be established, with less hours instruction, leading to more freedom and autonomy for the child. This leads to a child to become a more independent thinker, relying less on the teacher, thus thinking for themselves or trying to solve a problem on their own first before asking a teacher for help. I believe classrooms should be minimalist, replicating Maria Montessori's favourable environment, allowing freedom of movement and choice of expression, thus promoting child development. As you can see here, the classroom walls are free of displays and activities that are not aesthetically pleasing, thus replicating a calm and tranquil atmosphere, while children can get along with their work, avoiding unnecessary distractions. Additionally, Montessori suggested visions of nature should be employed into the classroom. As you can see in the image, plants are dispersed around the classroom, which the children are allowed to feed and water and watch them grow. As Bates suggested, children are acutely sensitive to their surroundings. Therefore, classroom settings should be as pleasant as possible to encourage growth. This leads me on to the age in which children start school. I believe children should start school when they are 7 years old, similar to the Finnish education system, as this allows children to be more developed, physically, mentally and emotionally, in preparation for school. This also aligns with Rudolf Steiner's approach, as Steiner schools too don't start formal learning until their 7th birthday, as Steiner believed children are not developed enough until they're 7 years old. Relating back to the Finnish education system, Finnish schools spend less hours per week studying within formal education, which I would like to implement into my educational philosophy. This leads to more free time for non-formal education, such as extracurricular activities, for example scouts and brownies, thus increasing a child's confidence and self-esteem. The style of education has proven to raise standards within the formal educational setting, particularly with teaching of literacy and mathematics. My ideology towards the curriculum replicates Steiner's methodology, which involves an integrated balance of practical, artistic and intellectual contents, enabling pupils to grow into adults who are capable of autonomous thinking and independent judgments. As I believe, children need to explore the world in which we live in, as they are naturally inquisitive and explorative. Therefore, they should be able to discover their surroundings outside of the classroom setting. An integration of thinking, doing and making is implemented into the curriculum, thus relating to Pestalozzi's head, heart and hands theory, that children should think for themselves, do for themselves and develop emotionally, which Steiner suggested teachers provide an environment for this, which is called self-education. Additionally, the Steiner curriculum will be implemented into my ideal educational system, as the curriculum allows children to have a 2-hour lesson period in the morning, with their class tutor from ages 6 to 14. This allows the child to have a constant figure to familiarise with, rather than multiple class tutors for every year of their school life. Children are educated through the medium of movement and sports. For example, in physics they could be studying gravity and mass, and this could be replicated in sports such as gymnastics, as the element of balance needs to be concentrated more on when landing a somersault, as gravity is pulling you down. Therefore, a cross-curriculum element is explored, which is essential for a more fully rounded child. I believe schools should implement cultural visits relating to the curriculum, which is replicated in Steiner's schools. For example, a visit to the War Memorial in France, or concentration camps such as Auschwitz in Germany. These cultural visits allow the child to get an insight into what life would have been like in the wartime, thus having an expressive means on, for example, a piece of writing they are doing regarding the war in a history lesson. Similarly, cultural capital will develop a child's thinking capacity. In addition, forest school feedback aligns with my philosophy of education. Forest school practitioners monitor monitor individuals' progress throughout the day, and readjust the task if needed. And then the child completes a final review at the end of the day, showcasing how they feel the day went. This can be in the form of role play, a piece of text, drawing, or however the child wishes to express the outcome of their day. I believe this method encourages children to express how they feel in a way that they feel comfortable with, whilst the teacher gets an insight into what they could do next to motivate the child. Similarly, in the Finnish education system, a senior teacher observes the lesson, whilst the teacher teaches, then gives feedback on the lesson for the teacher to improve on next time. I personally would like feedback on each lesson I partake in. Then next time I know what I need to improve on. Continual assessment would allow me to build upon my teaching skills and overall become a better teacher. This leads me on to the next factor that coincides with my ideology on education, which is creativity. According to the Oxford Dictionary Online, creativity is the use of imagination or original ideas to create something. With this definition in mind, Sir Ken Robinson proposed, we don't grow into creativity, we grow out of it, or rather we get educated out of it, thus implementing that the use of one's imagination and original ideas are not demonstrated within schools. Therefore, I want my education system to retrieve this by the use of creative means. As Robinson suggests, creativity involves putting your imagination to work. In a sense, creativity is applied imagination. Therefore, children need to explore their imaginative mind, which will simultaneously develop their creative skills. Similar to the Forest School approach, where children are taught outside of the classroom, children are allowed to touch the world and get creative, in the form of den building, drama and role play, digging, gardening and many more. Additionally, Chowler and Wells in Stratford Downey suggest research has shown that regardless of race, ethnicity and socio-economic class, early childhood experiences in nature significantly influence the development of lifelong environmental attitudes and values. Therefore, children will irrespectively respect the world around them. As Einstein did suggest, creativity is contagious. This leads to my conclusion. Overall, to conclude, my philosophy of education would comprise of minimalistic classroom with an access of visions of nature, lowering the age in which formal education starts to 7 years old. The curriculum needs to replicate autonomy and freedom for a child. Cultural visits. Creativity needs to be implemented into the curriculum with access to outside space. And finally, feedback on a regular basis from the child and also feedback from professionals on my performance.